Hello, people. Say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
Yeah. Nicola Chandani. A bit of a hiatus, you know. Oh, why? It wasn't like I couldn't. I could, but we've been busy, haven't we?
You've been busy.
You've been busy too. I'm sure they've seen you. They'll have seen you. Yeah. He's been busy. I've been busy. It's been tough work. In America, that's where we are. And I brought this big man here because I want to know about America and about, well, I suppose best place to start is why we're here, Major League Cricket, right? And if I said to you in 2 minutes max, tell the story. In fact, I'd probably want to say in 30 seconds, but in 2 minutes, tell the story of how we end up here with Major League Cricket.
It's a good one, actually. It's not like cricket has only now come into the US. It's been here. I mean, the first internationals played in 1844, but a new initiative has developed in the US by ACE and ACE Enterprises, bringing something called MLC, which is the Major League here. And what the initiative is overall trying to grow the game of cricket in the world's second largest sports market. So it started 3 years ago, where you had a combination of local players playing currently for the USA team and a few who retired from their respective countries and international sides and came to the USA seeking new opportunity and a chance to play international cricket, and just sort of pulling all of that together to have not only a franchise tournament but also a better international team. So it began with the minor league for 3 years, where you had 27 different states taking part in a tournament, T20 tournament, across the country every summer, and that was like a pathway into the Major League, which I'm sure many people watching would have seen at least some of.
Some of what? The minor league?
Major League.
Oh, Major League. Yeah, let's definitely seen the Major. What's ACE?
ACE is just a company. ACE Enterprises. Not really sure what it stands for, but it's just the name.
Okay, I thought it. America something. America Cricket something.
Maybe.
Maybe it is.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. If we find out, we'll put it in subtitles at the bottom here. Okay.
Yeah, put it.
Yeah, we'll put it. Now, I'm excited by what's gone on. Tell me, from minor league to major league, what you feel the difference has been and is between kind of what you saw at the beginning and what has happened now.
I think it's been a drastic difference in terms of just the quality. When you have 6 international players, Faf, Duplessis, Conway, I'm just thinking about one team, but Kyron Pollard, Rashid Khan, obviously it's going to elevate the quality of cricket. But also I would say facilities, coaching, structure, all of that, because in the minor league, there's an effort where this year the minor league will be played on all at least hybrid pitches, where you have that feel of an actual pitch, and there's some with actual pitches, but in the past it's been a lot on synthetic surfaces, matting, cement, and obviously that's not the real thing. So from that standpoint, it's been amazing to see how the Grand Prairie Stadium, where the MLC's played, has developed. But also I think the structure that some of the best coaches in the world, Mahela J. Wardner, Stephen Fleming, has brought to the game, but also their impact on the local players as well, I think has elevated them from when I saw it 2 to 3 years ago.
And I tell you what, during the tournament, from the beginning of it, and then as you went towards the end of it, you could see the improvement in the local players, or those I'll call the non-international players, actually, rather than just local. And that's probably the idea. That's the desire. Something else we've got to point out is that these games do not have T20 status, essentially. Not like an IPL, not like a CPL or a BPL or a BBL or SA20, right? Even though the tournament's been good, they don't. You know the reason. I know too, but I want you to tell everybody the reason.
Yeah, the reason is that the tournament is taking place in an associate member nation. So the USA don't have full member status. They play one international and T20 international cricket, but not Test cricket. There's no first class cricket structure. So because of that, unfortunately, the tournament doesn't have T20 status. But I'm hopeful, in a few years' time, that it could, that they could get full member. It's probably a far way away, but hosting a World Cup and developing facilities and stuff all go. Will lead towards becoming a lot closer to a full member.
Yeah, I wonder as well, and I'm pretty sure there's the necessity to kind of have gatekeepers and make sure that you don't have leagues sort of sprouting up absolutely everywhere. It's already, I'll say, a challenge for the cricketing world, the fact that there are quite a few of them around, but if it can be confined, then there's a measure of sort of control. I don't know that I necessarily agree with it. I'm still sort of grappling with that in my head, whether it's okay and whether there should be a different way of determining which leagues have the status and which leagues don't. Because the cricket that's been played here, pretty good, good duels between various high quality players, and would be no different to them playing elsewhere. I suppose what you'd say is the regulations ought to be the same, similar, very similar, and not too different, so that it can all count as the same thing. And there I'm talking about 6 players.
Let's let the people in the comments decide.
Yeah, good shout. I think, yeah. Tell us what you think. Do you think associate member nations could spring up a league, and if they can get it to what Major League Cricket is like right now, then they can have the status?
Because there are a few global T20, Major League Cricket. Nepal had a T20 tournament earlier this year, IL T20. So have your say, people.
Yeah. Afghanistan, they have one.
They have a T20 tournament as well.
They have one.
But that would be I think to regard as T20.
Yeah, it would,
because they're full member.
Because they're full member. And I was wondering if they had it before they got status as well. They probably did. So there'd be some games played then that wouldn't have status. Okay. Nikalutam Chandani. I didn't say what his name. Did I say his name at the start? I'll say it again because I love saying it. Nikhil Uttam Chandani. Say your own name.
Nikhil Uttam Chandani.
There you go. See, it is. Even he likes saying it.
Alrighty.
Why are you doing cricket commentary?
I think it's just a combination of loving cricket, but not good enough to play at the international level, but also just liking to talk a lot and express myself. So at first it just started as a hobby and a fun thing that I could do sometimes, and then it slowly just developed into now I'm sitting down next to one of the best.
Flattery will get you everywhere. So they say. Anyway, Barbados. You watched every game at Kensington Oval?
Not every game, but a lot of games. I remember when I was young, used to leave school. Credit to my mum as well, especially because she would let me leave school whenever there was cricket, and I would always sit in Greenwich and Haynes, section 117, the most corner seat, begging players for signatures. If you go in my house right now, in my room, there's like 10 to 20 bats just full with signatures. I don't even know who signed them, but at that age, it was just all about getting autographs and being in the cricket. And it's funny because now at this major league, we see so many young kids getting signatures and stuff. It's like a full circle. It's cool, man.
And cricket is like that. It's cyclical. You get all these photos as well, don't you? If you think of other sports, and I'm trying to think what is in my head. I've got this Ryan Giggs photograph, and I think it's with Danny Welbeck or someone, or Marcus Rashford or something. And he's like this little guy who's about 7, and he's got a picture with Ryan Giggs, and then next thing they're together at Man United. And so it is. Sport is kind of like that. Little people grow big, and then those big people grow old. You know? Um, who is your favoritist player? I know that's not an English word, okay? Do you have one or not?
I don't think I have one anymore. When I was growing up, there were a few that I really enjoyed, being West Indian, and I think when I grew up, it was at the time when I was watching cricket a lot. It was the time when we were winning T20 World Cups, and so I think big on Chris Gayle when I was younger, Kieron Pollard, Russell, Bravo, etc. But I think now I just admire a lot of players. So like Babar Azam is one that I really, I think any hour of the morning or day he's batting, I'll make sure I'm up watching it.
Right.
Just classic. And then there's a few I think the ones at the top. Just given the mental fortitude, Steve Smith in the Ashes and how he's been going. So I would say I more admire a lot of players and the different things from them as opposed to having that favoritist.
Favoritist, see? I just made a word. Anyway, it's quite interesting, isn't it? When you go to the younger ones, they'll tell you about 2020 players a lot of the time. And they don't really go towards the test match stuff. I want a perspective from you on the game and how you kind of take it in. As a youngster, you know, 2020 is all over the place.
Right. And the T10.
Oh, I never even think of that. I never do. I must admit this. I never go. So when I say shortest format of the game, I'm not thinking T10. I'm thinking 2020.
It's here though. It's coming. What I would say though is that I think, and I don't know if I can speak to my generation, the Gen Zs, because unfortunately I don't think they're similar to me in the sense that being involved in cricket to this degree, I'm a purist, I would say. So I really enjoy the longest format, the 5-day cricket, the amount of build-up you need, the amount of strategy, the small margin of error. But unfortunately, from my peers and people younger than me, from what I observe, everything is going to the shortest format and the fastest way to get any brand of entertainment, which is why we see the 100 and the T10s, etc. doing well. So I think that's the direction it's going. I even look at something like 50 over cricket, having done the qualifiers with you. And I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I know a lot of people who would watch the first 10, switch off maybe overs 20 to 40 and then come back. So I think finding a way to make the longer format more exciting, unless they're in the big four, I would say Australia, England, India, and then maybe a New Zealand or a South Africa but I think unless you're in those, so I think about the West Indies and it's just been a decline in terms of the attention around Test cricket. And I would argue right now Test cricket is the West Indies' best format. So it's a real tough one. I think a lot has to do with the attention span and how much technology is taken over my generation. But that's the way it's going.
Yeah. Well, who's out there? I don't know who's out there. I don't know if they're with you, Gen Z, or if they're with me. I don't know. What am I, boomer or something?
What do you call your generation?
I don't know. I don't call them anything. I'm just part of them, you know. I'm certainly not boomer, because that's a bit older than me. That's people from what? 50s and 60s, right?
I thought you were born then.
Okay, it's time to go. I think the longer we go on, there's going to be a whole lot more of such like comments. Thanks, Nikhil, or Umas, as a certain gentleman would say.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and listen, man, can you tell these people to, plead with them to subscribe to the channel?
I was going to do it regardless. But
you were going to?
Yeah, but
okay.
If you wanted to tell me. But nah, guys, I would suggest subscribe to Mbangwa Media. He's very passionate about putting out the best quality content for you guys, bringing value. And look, he's one of the most experienced commentators. It's been a pleasure to work alongside and learn from him. And the amount of cricket I've watched from 2002, 2005, when I was like 2-3 years old, this guy's voice is on it. So
no, not 2000. I was still
has
playing in 2000.
Wealth of experience. So follow up, subscribe, like, and definitely comment as well. He underestimates the value of comments. Share your thoughts on this as well.
I've seen some of your comments, and I appreciate them. I appreciate you, and I try to answer some of them. I will indeed. For now, ciao. Catch you next time.